Hey gang, so in the last video we made this move button. We gave it some styles. We ended up with something like this. Not that. We ended up with something like this because I put that empty onClick method in there and challenged you to make that onClick method work. We ended up with something like this where we've got these buttons. They don't do anything yet. But what we want to do is we want to be able to click this button right and have this move to the right. So what we're going to need to do, and we know that that position comes from the state of our app. So what we need to do is update these values, these hero values, using those buttons, right? And what we can do is we can say in our app class, we'll add a method called update hero. And this update hero will ultimately set the state of the hero position, right? So we know we're probably going to want to grab that hero position from our state, and then we'll update it. We can say something like hero position plus 1, right, to move to the right. But we need to be able to move in any direction, right? We need to be able to move when we click this button to the right. We need to be able to right, and this button move left. So in this direction, we'll add, say, 1 or 10 or 100 or whatever to that position, and this button will subtract. So what we would do well to do is to be able to write a function that's flexible enough to be used in every case, right? And then we'll take this function and we'll pass it in to our move button and use it in our onClick. Right? So we'll pass that from the parent, we'll pass it through the hero controls down to the move button. All right, so I'll show you how we'll do that. We'll bring in this update hero value, we'll bring in a move value. And this move value we'll say new hero position. Is that right? New hero position. And our new hero position. And you don't have to write this as a separate object if you don't want to. But I just think it makes it more easy to see what's happening here. So we'll update hero position.x that we're getting from state. We'll say hero position.x plus move value .x, and y is going to be hero position.y plus move value .y. So this move value is actually going to be an object with an x and a y. So we'll move in the x or the y direction, and that should let us move up, down, left, or right. Make sense? Great. So we'll take this, and this will be new hero position. And now we've got this method, update hero, which we can pass in to our hero controls. We'll say update parent will be the name of that prop, because when we're inside hero controls, this class component will be the parent. And we'll pass in that method as update parent. So we'll say this dot update hero. We'll pass that method down, update hero. We'll pass it down to the child component as update parent. So we can go into hero controls and we can bring update parent we can pull that off of the props, and we can say in here, update parent, and now I'm naming this in a purposefully kind of bad way, right? For two reasons. One, want you to be able to see that this is being passed, and each time it's sort of it's the same method ultimately, but it has these multiple steps that it's going through, and so we can just pass that method into each one of these in the same way, right? So we're passing that method into each one of these move buttons as update parent. And this is actually one of the great reasons for having Redux. And Redux will let us bypass all this passing down through the generations of objects. And let's say we have, you know, a big chain of components. What if there's, you know, something inside of this hero that we want to target? Maybe this hero has a head that has an eye, and we want to go all the way down to the eye, you know. Or, you know, similarly, if we have a user shopping cart and we want to drill down to some item inside of that shopping cart, we can end up doing a lot of this passing down of methods and state properties, whereas Redux will let us target those directly. But that's for another video. For now, we're just going to handle this very acceptable, you know, way of building these controls using just state. But here we are. We've got our update parent. We're going to pass in update parent, and inside of our move button, we'll take that update parent, and in our on click, we'll say finally we get to actually invoke that function in our on click. And remember, this update parent is going to want to get a value from inside here, right? Because we need to pass in an object that's going to have an X and a Y, so that when we're in our app, we get our direction, our move value, it's got an X and a Y. Now, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make this direction work as an on click? Because we need to have, these need to be numbers, but they need to be different numbers for each one. And again, there's a bunch of different ways to do this, but one pretty simple way is just to, right up here in our move button, we can make a key. And we'll just give it, we'll say for if we get left, which remember we will get in the direction will give us left, right, up, down. We'll say if the direction is left, we're going to want to give -10 and 0. If the direction is going to be right, we're going to want to give 10 and 0. And if it's up, we'll say 0 and -10. And if it's down, we'll give 0 and 10. Now in here, we'll say update parent, and you know, we don't need those because we've now got those keys in our move values. And so we can say move values at direction. that works. And let's see if that works. No, doesn't work. Cannot read property state of undefined. And even from this this error message, I can see what the problem is. Hopefully you can too. I need to make update hero a arrow function. And the reason for that is that when this method finally gets called, it's no longer an app, it's inside this onClick method of my move button. And there's no this on this onClick method. And it's certainly not the correct this. But if I make this an arrow function, then it will maintain the proper scope for this. So let's try that again. And we'll come back here and still not working. What did I forget? So we get our new hero position, we get our move value. Let's just go ahead and console.log move value. Check that out in here. State of undefined. Okay, so nan is an invalid value for the left CSS style property. And that's right. That's my bad. So I forgot one thing, which is to, what did I forget here? Let's see, we'll go to our move button. And what did we get here when we got 10 and 0. Nan is an invalid value for the left. So I think what I did, I think actually must be in that set state. Let's take a look at that. New hero position has an X plus move value.x. Let's just console.log new hero position. Okay, so now you can see there's our nan. That's not what we wanted. We want 10, 0. Hero position dot x is nan. Huh. All right, well, let's just console.log hero position dot x and move value dot x. And just make sure we'll figure out why that's turning into a nan. Okay, so move value dot x is undefined. Ah, yes. And you can see it's a capital X there, so that's silly. Let's just go here and make sure we change these to lowercase x's. And there we go. So just a silly little mistake, but this is, how very often we'll track down a silly little mistake is just by checking out what the values are at any given point. And there are more sophisticated ways to do that, but I fall back on this quite often. And it's a great way for you to get started with, testing values. So let's see if this works now. And there we go. Now there's one more thing we want to do when we update our hero is we want to create that transformation when the goal is reached. And that's what I'll do in the next video. is create that transformation. And I think that'll be the last video for this little chunk of videos. In subsequent videos, what I want to do is use this basic framework setup little game to talk about Redux. But that'll come next week. For now, what I want to do is just create that transformation, and we're going to do that in Update Hero. So maybe you should take a stab at it. What we want to do is we want to transform this achieved goal value from false to true when the hero position reaches a certain level. So see if you can do that. And when that happens, what we want to do is then show this rainbow leprechaun. And I'll show you how to do that in the next one.